We're watching shares of Chinese self-driving company WeRide on Friday because it reported earnings before the bell. It was actually their first earnings release as a listed company on the NASDAQ. Now, we saw the share price really rising intraday, closing up 13%. That was actually despite losses widening in the fourth quarter. We also saw revenue declining. So an interesting earnings release, and certainly one, even with those sort of softer or weaker spots, still was interpreted very positively by a lot of analysts and traders. Let's get more now with the WeRide founder and CEO. This is Tony Han joining us this morning for an exclusive interview. And Tony, I want to get your reaction to those numbers because, as I said, there were some softer spots, but still we saw a positive market reaction. So what stood out to you in particular?
I think over the past year and the first quarter, we do have some kind of increase in expense, but overall the technology has progressed very well, and we are expanding to like 30 cities, 30 cities in 10 countries, and our robotaxi has been announced, and like by the mid of 2025, we will have 50 robotaxi running in the Uber platform in Abu Dhabi. And so there are lots of progress. I think that's the exciting progress in both R&D and the operation and in the sales numbers, especially for robotaxi and the new products. All of these factors combining together give us a very good performance in the stock market.
Can you share some more details on the expansion? Because just to give people some context here, speaking about the robotaxi fleet specifically, you've got around 400 vehicles in that. 300 roughly are in mainland China. The rest are abroad. Lots of those are expected to be at least in the UAE. But where would you go in the UAE or in the Middle East more broadly? And where would you also go next in other international markets?
So in UAE, we actually has already started to operate in a major area in Abu Dhabi, like the Yas Island, Satis Island, and the Ras to Said International Airport, and many key areas in Abu Dhabi. And we also start our RoboBus in trial operation in Barcelona, and also we have our robotaxi RoboBus operation in Zurich Airport, and also robotaxi operation in Zurich, and we will have more to come, maybe in Japan and also in France. So there are lots of cities like we are trying to explore right now, and we believe like. One unique thing of WeRide is like WeRide is a global company, and we try to expand our autonomous driving service to the global market. And we are building a very strong business development team, very strong sales network, and we are trying to build very general autonomous driving technology to support the operation and service globally. So that's roughly our rough plan about expansion in the global market.
Tony, I want to pick up on that point about your expansion in the global market. I did see that pedestrians and riders were able to ride one of your minibuses for free in Barcelona last week. That was a trial, the Robo bus that you mentioned just then. So beyond the robo-taxis, what is the strategy and what are the targets for expanding vehicles in the minibus area, in the van area, and where are the markets that you're focusing for those sorts of vehicles?
So I think so for the market that we try to focus, that is mainly for some market that are short of labors. So one thing we don't want to do is like we are not killing humans' jobs. We are trying to solve some society issues that is for some market that there's an aging society and short of labors, and we want to try to use a machine to fill the gap between the actual demand and the shortage of labor. So that's what we are trying to do. So besides robotaxi, like our RoboSweeper is trying to fill the gap between the shortage of the manpower and the high demand in the sanitation industry. And for RoboVan, same thing for logistic delivery. And for the minibus in public transportation, in some European countries, they are short of bus drivers. So we will focus on these markets that have some shortage, especially driver shortage problem, and we try to solve it with, we want to supply a solution with much more economically efficient and much safer solution. And if you sit in our robo minibus, you can feel like the smoothness of this robo bus is kind of even better than human bus driver, experienced human bus driver. You never feel like this kind of motion sickness or jerkiness like you usually experienced in a bus. In minibus, it's just like you sit in a private cabinet and drive by your private chauffeur, and it's very smooth, and the view is fantastic. You're just like sitting there. So I believe with all of this, we can supply a very good user experience to our users.
You talk about places where there's aging populations or maybe a shortage of labor supply, and of course you mentioned Japan as well. So this is clearly going to be a key market. But I want to talk about that business model that you have as well, because the approach of WeRide is to find local partners in each market, sell the vehicles, charge a fixed service fee, have a revenue sharing agreement in place. You already have this partnership with Uber in the Middle East. Would you look to also partner with Uber in Japan?
Oh, so that's a very good question. So basically, we want to, our philosophy or methodology is like we want to closely work with our partners, but for the expansion, we don't want to become dominant. We just want to be a kind of autonomous driving technology and the transportation power supplier. So we want to very well align with Uber's expansion in Japan, but that's not saying we are not doing Japan market. If Uber don't have a very eminent plan to expand in Japan, we can also find some local partners. Actually, for minibus, we have already started. And there are several, I would say several dimensions about expansion. One is like geographically, how to expand. The other one is about products. Like, for example, in Europe, like minibus is very, very kind of people's favorite products, because public transportation, people like to take public transportation in Europe. So minibus, we focus our minibus in the European market. In Japan, we are also starting the market. Yeah, that's how we expand.
But going to Japan in particular, I'm interested because Uber is in Japan, so that would be a natural partner for you. How, though, are you also going to be going up against competitors in this space? Because Waymo, for instance, and that's a subsidiary of Alphabet, also has its own autonomous driving fleet. They're also looking at expanding into Japan. So with your business model, how do you compete with names like Waymo to be the partner of companies like Uber?
Okay. So I think our main strategy is trying to expand our robotaxi service in a very efficient and in a very stable way. And good thing to team up with Uber is like Uber has already have a very strong network of human driving taxi. Okay, human driven taxi. And the thing is like, when you adopt autonomous driving technology, like for example, if you want to take over one city and has a very good estimate of time of arrival, you have to deploy at least 1,000 or sometimes 5,000 cars in that single city. That causes a huge burden. On the other hand side, the collaboration pattern of Uber and WeRide is like we roll out the robotaxi in a hybrid mode. That is, some of the orders requests will be fulfilled by robotaxi. Some of the order will be fulfilled by the human drivers. But to user, it's kind of a very smooth and transparent experience. I think this kind of combination gives us a very strong advantage over our competitors. To my best knowledge, like in the global market, like the combination of WeRide and Uber is the first of the case. No other competitor have ever done so, and we look forward to keeping this kind of computational advantages.
One of the ways, though, of course, you can compete is on price. I mean, yeah, but on competition around price, I mean, I know that in the domestic market as well, you're looking at having dynamic pricing, which I kind of understood as you would be looking at offering discounts. I mean, how much cheaper can you go, not just against names like Waymo, but also the competitors within China? Because there is Baidu, Pony AI, Momenta, Deep Route, Didi has its own robotaxi fleet. I mean, it's already quite a competitive landscape.
So one strategy of WeRide is we don't want to compete for the price. Frankly speaking, I think there may be several competitors. Actually, that's not many. Only very, very few competitors in China can supply reliable and efficient robotaxi. Not that many, although many competitors claim that they have robotaxi fleet. But if you look at it, there are only at most 3 competitors can do robotaxi operation and fleet in China. Among all of this, I think WeRide, with its strong technology, strong record, so far for this 400 a fleet of 400 robo vehicles, we have 0 regulatory discipline due to our system failure. So that's an extraordinary number. We are so proud of our safety record. WeRide has 4 autonomous driving permits in 4 various autonomous driving operation and trial permits in 4 countries. There's only one company have a permit from 4 countries. So for that kind of competition, we will focus on the reliability and experience. And I personally don't think autonomous driving or robotaxi and all of relevant products has come to a competition for us to compete against price. It hasn't arrived to that stage yet. I believe the final winners will be the winner who can supply the best quality of the service, not simply lowest the price.
I want to ask as well about the other people or other businesses that you're working with. NVIDIA, of course, stands out. You're using the Blackwell system, for instance, to build your computer unit. What kind of contingencies, though, do you have in place if there's a move from the US to further restrict Chinese companies' access to this sort of technology?
Okay, so first of all, I would say there are several alternatives. Like WeRide as a global company will do business in all over the world, mainly focus on European market, Middle East market, and Japan market, and Southeast market. So for the chip suppliers, and if there is some restrictions on certain area, and we can always adopt alternative approach. Frankly speaking, for the SoC, for the car industry, or for the autonomous driving, there are several options. Okay, but to us, we do want to see that if possible, we can supply the best quality and quality to cost ratio, best ratio product to the consumers. Yeah, that's
Tony,
our strategy.
Just a quick. Thank you very much. A quick one before we lose you. Your plans for a secondary listing in Hong Kong?
Okay, so first of all, we haven't made any announcement about our about the Hong Kong IPO. We don't have any announcement yet. If we have such announcement, we will let you know in a timely manner.
Okay, all right. Sounds like maybe there's something going on in the background, but nothing to say just yet publicly. That was the WeRide founder and CEO, Tony Han, there in San Jose. Thanks so much for joining us for that exclusive interview.